Prepare your heart. For an important encounter is drawing near to you without sending any clear sign beforehand. I do not say this to make you anxious or cause you to search hastily through every face that appears around you, but so that you may understand that the quiet movements of the recent season are gradually coming together at an appointed moment. This encounter may take place on a day that seems completely ordinary, in a place where you never expected anything special to happen, or through someone you never imagined would enter your journey, because it will not arrive according to your familiar calculations. It will test your ability to recognize what is before you. Remain calm, watchful, and open-hearted, for what is meant for you does not always appear in a dazzling form. Great gifts are sometimes hidden within brief conversations, simple introductions, or coincidences that seem to carry no meaning at all. When the appointed time comes, you will realize that I guided many different paths toward one another simply to place that moment before you. Perhaps recently you have sensed that something within you is no longer as settled as it once was. You can no longer remain satisfied with the things that previously made you feel secure, and familiar places have suddenly begun to feel too narrow for the growth taking place within you. At times, you awaken with an unexplainable feeling that something is about to change, even though your outward circumstances have not yet given you any visible evidence. Do not quickly dismiss that stirring. I placed it within you like a gentle bell, helping you recognize that an old season is closing and a new door is gradually opening. What you are sensing is not meaningless imagination, but a sensitivity that is awakening after a long period in which you had to learn how to listen. The quiet days behind you were not as empty as you once believed. Within that stillness, I corrected your perspective, calmed your fears, and helped you distinguish between the pressure of anxiety and the peaceful invitation rising from deep within. You have also watched certain people leave your journey without offering a complete explanation. Doors that once stood wide open suddenly closed. Plans in which you placed great hope could no longer continue. And relationships you believed would last became distant. At the time, you may have thought you were losing too much. But my beloved child, not every departure is a loss. Some things must be removed from your hands so that those hands will no longer be occupied with the past when a new gift is placed within them. Certain voices must become more distant so that you will no longer be disturbed by words that cause you to doubt yourself. Old paths must close because you cannot enter a more spacious place while continuing to look backward for the approval of an environment that has become too small for you. I did not allow these changes to make you lonely. I am clearing the road, lightening what you carry, and protecting you from bringing burdens that do not belong in the journey ahead. The encounter that is coming does not require you to become a perfect person. You do not need to prepare a polished image or memorize words that make you appear stronger than you feel. What is needed most is authenticity. The person or opportunity being brought to you will not be drawn to the mask you once used to hide your vulnerable places, but will recognize the value I have quietly cultivated within you. They will see perseverance behind your gentleness, wisdom formed through the days when you had to walk alone, and a purity that many people in the past unintentionally overlooked. Therefore, do not try to turn yourself into a version you believe others will prefer. What is truly right for you will never require you to diminish your voice, conceal your light, or apologize for the good qualities I have given you. This encounter will recognize you, not because you express everything perfectly, but because your presence carries a mark that can only be discerned by the right person at the right time. I understand why you still worry, that you are not ready. You look at the unfinished areas of your life, wounds that have not completely settled, and questions that remain unanswered. And you tell yourself that perhaps you need more time. But readiness does not always mean that fear has disappeared. Often, you are ready, even while your hands are trembling. As long as you do not allow fear to make you reject what is good. I prepared you through every trial you once wished to escape. Seasons of waiting taught you patience. Seasons of misunderstanding helped you stop depending on the judgments of others. And the days when you had to stand up alone showed you that you could become stronger than you once believed. Even your mistakes became lessons that gave you a more careful and discerning perspective. You are not arriving at this moment empty-handed. You carry with you the maturity gathered throughout days when no one was watching. However, you must guard your heart against impatience. When you hear that a special encounter is coming, you may begin to speculate, assign meaning to everyone you meet, or try to force a certain situation to become what I have promised. Do not do this. What is truly meant for you does not require your pressure. It will arrive with a clarity, peace, and consistency that can be recognized over time. I do not lead you into confusion that repeatedly strips away your dignity. Nor do I ask you to ignore every warning sign merely to keep someone from leaving. Observe the fruit of the encounter. Does it help you live more honestly, grow more maturely, and move closer to peace? Does it respect healthy boundaries, encourage a good purpose, and help you recognize your own value more clearly? What I permit to enter your life will not build your future by destroying who you are. This encounter may take the form of a colleague, a teacher, a friend, a deep relationship, or someone who opens an opportunity you have been waiting for. It is also possible that this person will appear only briefly, yet speak a word that changes the entire direction of your thinking. Do not judge the importance of someone only by how long they remain. Some people may accompany you for years without helping you cross a single important threshold, while another person who arrives at the right moment may place in your hands the key you have been seeking for a long time. Receive them with gratitude, but do not cling. The purpose of the encounter is not for you to surrender every decision about your life to someone else, but to awaken what I have already placed within you. The right person will not make you dependent upon them. They will encourage you to walk boldly upon your own feet. When the encounter occurs, listen more than you try to impress. Certain messages may be hidden in the way that person speaks, in the questions they ask, or in the quiet sense of peace that appears when two paths meet. Do not allow old wounds to make you immediately build a wall, but neither should your desire to be understood cause you to open every door too quickly. Wisdom knows how to maintain a balanced rhythm, neither completely closed nor hurried, neither suspicious of everything nor willing to give trust before time has confirmed it. I want you to enter what is new with a tender heart and clear eyes. Your gentleness is precious, but it must be accompanied by discernment so that it is not exploited. You can love while maintaining boundaries, remain open without losing yourself, and continue hoping without abandoning watchfulness. While you wait, do not stop living merely because you are hoping for a person or an opportunity to appear. Continue caring for what has been entrusted to you today. Complete your work faithfully. Protect your health. Bring order to your living space. And nurture the relationships that bring peace into your life. The new encounter is not coming to rescue you from a life you have neglected. It is coming to meet you while you are faithfully building something good with what you already possess. Every healthy decision you make now is part of your preparation. When you learn to respect your time, keep the promises you make to yourself, and refuse to return to places that have repeatedly exhausted you, you are creating a firm foundation so that what is new will not be damaged by your former habits. My beloved child, trust that I know exactly what must come to you and when the time is right. You do not need to run everywhere, searching for a moment that has already been appointed. You need only remain in the place of sincerity, awareness, and obedience to the peaceful guidance you receive each day. When that encounter appears, you may be surprised by how naturally it happens. Things that once seemed disconnected will begin to come together. Delays will become understandable, and you will realize that not one day of waiting was wasted. Move forward with faith, but do not abandon wisdom. Open your heart, but do not lose your boundaries. Welcome what is new, but do not turn away from the lessons that helped you grow. I am going ahead of you to prepare the way, while remaining beside you to guard your heart from fear. What is coming will not require you to pretend to be someone else. It will recognize you, value what is genuine within you, and help you move closer to the path along which I have quietly been leading you for a very long time. You have grieved many times over doors that closed, people who walked away, and opportunities that disappeared. But I tell you that not everything lost from your hands is truly a loss. Some things departed because they were no longer spacious enough to contain the person you are becoming. Certain relationships ended because, had they continued, you would have remained hesitant, always lowering your voice, hiding your aspirations, and diminishing your light in exchange for a small sense of belonging. Some roads were suddenly blocked, not because you had been rejected, but because I knew that at the end of those roads there was only a narrow room decorated with beautiful promises. You looked at the closing and believed you were not good enough, while I saw it as a moment of liberation. You grieved over what did not happen, but I knew that if everything had unfolded exactly as you desired, you might still be trapped today in a life that could not match the depth I placed within you. Your identity has never been determined by the people who did not choose you, the promises that were not kept, or the plans that collapsed along the way. You are not what remains after rejection. Neither are you the sum of your mistakes, hesitation, or missed opportunities. I quietly led you away from places that knew how to use your gentleness but never valued your heart. I separated you from relationships that continually caused you to question your worth. I allowed plans that seemed certain to become impossible because I did not want you to build your entire future upon an unstable foundation. Even when you did not understand what was happening, my hand never left you. Within every delay, I was slowing your steps to protect you from a hasty decision. Within every redirection, I was leading you away from what only appeared right for the moment. Within every unexpected turning point, I was opening a path your understanding had not yet recognized. Many times, you asked me to open a door, yet my mercy was revealed by keeping it closed. You may have wept over that silence and wondered why others entered so easily while you continued to wait. But what I am preparing for you cannot be measured by someone else's timing. You are not behind. You are being made steady. Some blessings, if given too soon, would become burdens. Some positions, if entered before you possessed sufficient wisdom, would cost you your peace. Some relationships, if restored before your wounds had healed, would only repeat the same old cycle of pain. Therefore, I used time to cleanse your vision, deepen your discernment, and teach you what is truly worthy of being preserved. You once believed that waiting was evidence that you had been forgotten. But you will come to understand that quiet seasons are where I cultivate a maturity that applause could never produce. The recurring sense that you are different is not a mistake. You once tried to fit into places where your heart never truly found rest. You learned to speak as others spoke, dream as they dreamed, and follow the standards they established, merely so that you would not be considered an outsider. Yet, the harder you tried to become someone easier to accept, the more unfamiliar you became to yourself. I allowed that discomfort to remain because it was a bell reminding you that your journey was not created to imitate anyone else. You may walk beside others, learn from them, and love them. But you were not born to become a copy of dreams that do not belong to you. Within you is a unique way of seeing, a unique sensitivity, and a unique calling. This does not place you above anyone else, but it gives you a responsibility that no one else can fulfill on your behalf. There were times when you tried to silence that inner urging because you feared that living truthfully, according to what was awakening within you, would cause you to be misunderstood or force you to walk alone. You postponed what you knew you needed to do, withdrew words that should have been spoken, and abandoned certain aspirations merely because they did not resemble what others expected from you. Yet, what I planted within you could not easily disappear. It returned during quiet nights, in moments when you looked at your life and recognized that there was still an emptiness no outward achievement could fill. It was present in the uneasiness you felt each time you betrayed the very values you believed. That calling did not come to make you anxious, but to draw you out of pretense. I do not want you to spend your entire life performing a role that pleases others while draining everything within you. I want you to live from a place of truth, where your words and actions no longer oppose one another, and where you do not exchange yourself for permission to remain in any room. What I placed within you is not fragile enough to be destroyed by criticism or failure. Your value does not increase when others praise you, nor does it decrease when they overlook you. If you establish your foundation upon the approval of others, you will always be pulled between confidence and doubt, because today they may celebrate you, while tomorrow the same people may cause you to feel small. I am teaching you to stand in a place deeper than every opinion. When you know where you belong, you will no longer enter each room worrying about what others are thinking. You will stop altering your nature merely to avoid rejection. You will still be able to receive correction, acknowledge mistakes, and change when necessary. But you will no longer permit anyone to turn one weakness into a sentence against your entire being. The confidence growing within you is not self-display, but quiet peace. You will not need to speak loudly to prove that you are strong. Your voice will carry weight because it is born from conviction rather than fear of being forgotten. Your decisions will become clearer because you will no longer choose merely to please everyone. You will learn to say no without guilt, to say yes without betraying your boundaries, and to walk away from unhealthy places without needing to hate anyone. You will stop hiding your abilities, pretending not to care about what truly moves your heart, and apologizing for the pure dreams I planted within you. When you begin to honor your true self, everything will gradually come into order. Your words will agree with your beliefs. Your actions will move with your purpose. And courage will grow without being forced. I know there were days when you felt invisible, as though every effort disappeared into silence, and no one recognized what you had sacrificed. You wondered whether your presence truly made any difference. But those moments merely exposed the lies that had attached themselves to you. They could not define you. You once mistook the coldness of others for evidence that you were unworthy of love. You mistook an unsuccessful opportunity for proof that you lacked ability. You allowed one person's departure to convince you that you were not enough to be chosen. Today, I am removing each of those false conclusions. Another person may fail to see you, but that does not make you meaningless. Someone's inability to appreciate you does not mean you are unworthy of appreciation. One place failing to make room for you does not mean there is no place in this world where you belong. This understanding will not arrive like lightning and complete its work in a single day. It will unfold gradually through every small choice you make in truthfulness. Each time you stop diminishing yourself, another part of the old identity falls away. Each time you establish a healthy boundary, you restore respect for yourself. Each time you courageously move toward what you know is right, you draw closer to the person I have called by name. Be patient with the process. You do not need to become perfect before entering your purpose. You need only remain faithful to the light you possess today. The parts of you that are still afraid do not need to be hated. They need to be guided with gentleness. Maturity does not mean that you will never feel weak. It means that when weakness comes, you no longer return to what once wounded you, merely because it feels familiar. I am Michael, and I remind you that what has left your life cannot carry away your future. That future is not held by one person, one door, or one opportunity. What is truly meant for you will never require you to lose yourself in order to keep it. Therefore, stop standing before closed paths and asking what you lack. Do not return to places from which I have led you merely because you fear the emptiness ahead. That emptiness is not an abyss. It is new ground waiting to be planted. Move forward in peace. Because every delay, separation, and redirection is bringing you closer to a place where you may live fully without diminishing yourself. One day, you will look back and understand that what you called loss actually liberated you. What you called rejection actually protected you. And what you thought was an ending was only the door opening into a greater beginning. Did you believe that I did not see what you endured in silence? Or that I allowed the years of your life to pass without remembering them? No. My beloved child, not one of your tears fell into forgetfulness. And not one good thing you did with a sincere heart was left behind. I saw every time you lifted another person while you yourself were weary. Every day you continued choosing kindness while carrying deep pain within. And every night you prayed quietly without knowing whether your words were being heard. I know everything you planted, including the smallest seeds that even you no longer remember. I protected them through seasons of strong wind, preserved them from being swept away by ridicule, delay, and the times you wanted to give up. Now, I am not merely reminding you of what you planted. I am commanding the ground around you to produce fruit, calling what has been sleeping to awaken, and causing the season of harvest to begin appearing upon the very road you are walking. There is a nobility within the responsibility you have carried for many years, even though you have not always known how to name it. This is why you have often felt different. why you have found it difficult to blend into shallow things, and why you could not fully explain the deep stirrings within you. You once wondered why you thought more deeply than others, why a single word could remain with you for so long, and why you noticed sadness behind smiles that others easily overlooked. You believed that such sensitivity was a burden that made you too vulnerable. But I want you to understand that it is not a flaw that must be removed. You were created with unusual depth, because what I entrusted to you cannot be carried by a shallow heart. You must see what others fail to see, perceive what others have not yet recognized, and know how to pause beside those whom the crowd has hurried past. Within you is a longing that cannot be satisfied by outward accomplishments. Even when you attain something you once desired, a voice within you continues to call you towards something more meaningful. You were not born merely to chase recognition, accumulate temporary things, or spend your life within cycles that exhaust your mind. I placed within you a vision directed toward what endures, and therefore fleeting pleasures cannot hold you for very long. At times, you tried to become like everyone else so that you would not seem unusual. You lowered your greatest hopes, concealed what you felt, and pretended to be satisfied with a life smaller than the calling within your heart. Yet the more you diminished yourself, the emptier you became. This was not because you were ungrateful, but because the noble thing I placed within you continued to remind you that you were being prepared for a purpose greater than merely surviving each day. You are often drawn toward what others do not take the time to notice. You listen to a story and recognize the pain behind the words. You enter a room and sense its heaviness before anyone speaks. You may see someone appearing strong before everyone else, while still knowing that they need support within. Do not therefore consider yourself excessively fragile. I formed within you a deep capacity to perceive so that healing might pass through you. However, I am also teaching you that feeling the pain of others does not mean you must carry every burden in their place. Compassion must be joined with wisdom, and love must be protected by healthy boundaries. You are called to illuminate the road, not to burn yourself away, merely to keep warm those who refuse to leave the cold. When you understand this, your sensitivity will no longer exhaust you, but will become a source of light that helps you serve in the right place, at the right time, and in the right way. Great responsibility requires a firm foundation. And this is why I allowed your roots to grow through layers of soil you once wished to avoid. Difficult seasons were not permitted to destroy you. They compelled you to hold more tightly to truth. Stop depending upon praise, and learn how to stand, even when no one understood you. There were times when I did not remove you from the trial immediately, because I was building endurance within you that rapid success could never produce. You learned how to continue when your emotions no longer supported you, how to preserve a pure heart when you were treated unfairly, and how to refuse to use pain as a reason to injure others. Those lessons drove your roots deep. Therefore, when your branches begin to rise and fruit appears, you will not easily be carried away by pride, flattery, or opportunities that do not align with your purpose. Do not look at the person beside you and conclude that you have been left behind. You have never been late for the plan prepared for you. The turns in your journey are not evidence that you have chosen the wrong road. Sometimes they are the safest route to where you need to go. There were shortcuts you once desired, but had you entered them too early, you would have encountered things you were not strong enough to face. There were doors I allowed to remain closed, not because you were unworthy, but because what lay behind them was not as good as you imagined. Some people moved ahead of you very quickly, but they do not carry the same responsibility, do not require the same preparation, and are not being guided toward the same destination. Therefore, do not use another person's timing to measure your own journey. A tree with deep roots often takes longer to appear above the ground. But when the storm arrives, it is the tree that remains standing. Even pain has been used as part of your preparation. I do not call what wounded you good, but I have the authority to transform it into wisdom and compassion. What once broke you now helps you recognize those who need gentleness. Betrayal taught you to discern sincerity. Seasons of lack taught you to value and manage what is entrusted to you. The times when no one stood beside you taught you not to place your entire trust in people. I did not waste a single chapter, including those you do not wish to remember. I gathered the pieces that seemed useless, joined them together, and formed a person of depth, endurance, and kindness, who is no longer easily led by deception. Even silence was part of the way I trained you. When you did not hear an answer, you believed I had departed. Yet, during those very days, I was working in places your eyes could not see. If everything had been explained immediately, you would have learned to trust only when evidence was already before you. I wanted you to mature until you could remain peaceful without understanding everything. Continue doing what was right before seeing the result, and preserve gratitude in a season that showed no visible sign of change. Silence filtered impatience from you, taught you to stop following every voice, and helped you distinguish between what truly belongs to you and what only seeks to distract you. Now, as clarity begins to arrive, you will recognize that I was never inactive. I was arranging everything behind the scenes so that when the door opened, you would not need to force it with your own strength. Now, I am bringing clarity into the places that were once covered by doubt. Questions that followed you for many years will gradually receive their answers. Not necessarily through lengthy explanations, but through the way events begin to connect. You will understand why you had to wait, why a certain person left, why one plan was redirected, and why you always felt that you did not belong in certain places. As those pieces return to their proper positions, you will no longer resent the past. You will recognize that many times I protected you through rejection, guided you through delay, and rescued you by allowing something you loved to come to an end. This understanding will make your heart lighter, because you will know that not every loss was punishment and not every detour was a mistake.